Good evening, everyone. Welcome, marhaba, and bonjour to all of the people who are joining us. This is Anchal here, your regular webinar host from PMI UAE chapter, and I'm here glad to be again along with you guys to take you through another journey, again with one of the special speaker and our guest who is also going to bring us some knowledge of wisdom, a pinch with the experience, and a lot of hassles which everybody has gone through as a project manager, as a professions, so that we can learn something together in this next 1 hour journey there. I welcome you all for making it on time for those. And it's a good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on from where you're joining, guys. And the people, I see some familiar names, of course, so I really heartfully welcome all of you again. So we have 300 plus registrations again, as usual. We have been growing our community and we are very proud about it. And of course, we see the people from everywhere joining to us. Oh, my voice is echoing. Thank you for letting me know. Uh, Let me just again try to see if something is
Actually, it's good for us.
is good for you. Okay, so possibly at the user end, possibly. Thanks for confirming. So I think that is where we are leading towards. So we have a couple of people joining us. Meanwhile, I see the people can use this networking as a kind of opportunity in the chat to introduce yourself, share your connections if you want, and also tell them actually what kind of industry they are coming from. And then, of course, if the location matters, that's not a problem. But the industry is also important because the people like to definitely connect with the people from their industry easily to make a connection. And then, of course, it can help to the people to multiply their network as well that way. So we see we are almost reaching more than 100 now. So a good number of people joining us again as usual, and we expect them to join a couple of more during the course of the time. So meanwhile, let me start formally, and it's my absolute pleasure to connect with all of you. This is a global community. We don't see the people only joining from UAE, but beyond that. So I'm really quite thankful for all of you. This chapter series is a kind of space where we always welcome ideas, and these ideas need to meet actions and the experience need to meet inspirations. So that's why we always follow that path. And with my purpose behind the scene is, of course, to bring you the quality around the speaker. And I have been joined by Mr. Nikki, Ms. Nida, Parvez, and Amir, who is helping us to make this webinar as successful as possible from the engaging and learning perspective. So today we will be exploring something which is more importantly connected with our pace, our speed, because we are in living into the era which is very fast changing, high pressure environments in our places, and the project managers as a community can no longer rely on the traditional approaches, right? When we talk about control to manage. So this session specifically, which is telling about beyond deadlines, reimagining the project leadership in a world that won't wait. So nobody want to wait, and especially if you will agree with me, the Gen Z, okay, they are called the on-demand and click-through generation. So nothing can wait for the new generation anyway. And we are also in the point where we started handling these challenges in the workplaces as well. So with that, we will explore some powerful analogies of Foucault Pendulum, which of course we would like to understand from our speaker. Mr. Vishu is with us. And more importantly, this introduction is specifically around the 4P Project Intelligence System, in which we are going to learn that how to align your projects, process, people, and the purpose to navigate the complexity in the effective fashion. So with that, that is the gist about today's topic. That is the fulcrum on which we are going to move the needle. More importantly, some housekeeping notes for the people who are joining it first time. This will be a near about 75 minutes long webinar in which will be start with the PMI UA chapter introduction. And then it will followed by the main presentation by the speaker. After the presentation of the speaker, of course, we host a Q&A session where I will read your Q&A questions from the Q&A section, and then we'll try to put across to our guest over there. So always make sure that you put your questions in the Q&A panel, not in the chat. Otherwise, if the chat keep on running and your questions can get into sync of the holes there. Feel free to share your reflection in the chat, and your collective experience really enrich the discussions there. And of course, your participation is going to bring you to PDUs. Of course, you have to register this webinar with your registered PMI email address. Then it automatically get accredited to you guys. If in any case somebody has any issues regarding the PDUs, in the chat, of course, we will be posting out the links to connect with the right people, and then of course somebody can help you at the back end. But there's a cycle which goes through in PDU accreditation, which I think will take a couple of days and sometimes a week also. So with that, let's begin with the snapshot of the chapter here. And let me share my screen quickly to bring it up to the speed to you guys. And here we go to make it a full screen. I will jump back to the slide. Yeah, here is that. So the chapter, so of course, the project management is a renowned institute. We all know, being founded by the group of project managers by 1969. And then since then, going strong, even after 50 years, it is evolving and it is changing with the time and bringing the more and more frameworks and the knowledge sharing to the global community, along with the standards and the credential attached to that. From the perspective of local chapter vision, which is the UAE chapter, of course. So empower and influence the individuals with the innovative project economy principles to turn their ideas into the reality. To go with this, we have the mission statement that says that to disrupt and create value-driven opportunities to our chapter members and partners to become agile, innovative, and productive in the platform for the growth of project economy. That's the mission statement that has been carved out. Specifics about the chapter, of course, is 100% run by volunteers, 6,000 plus active members, guys. So it is phenomenal. It's among the top 5 chapters in the region. And then, of course, we are trying to help as much as possible to the community and developing the capabilities and offering the events and the webinars and the interactive workshops as and when required. And we're trying hard to make that up in the region. And we all depend on you to make these activities as invigorating as possible with alongside of thing. We have the recently created board. So we have now President Ms. Amina and the rest of the board of directors who have been helping her in the new board of directors alongside of the management team. Chapter benefits, we have networking opportunities, we do the knowledge sharing things and the career growth in terms of mentorship program and the event. And this webinar is a part of the event diversified pillar over there. Of course, we recently finished up the last Sunday was the face-to-face event in Dubai. So of course, the people who have been the part of it must be still reminiscing about the memories going around that. And then we met a couple of members from the MENA region as well in that. We have the members corner and the member spotlight, which is being the initiative handled by the marketing team. To get indulged into it, please write your notes to the newsletter at pmiua.org, where you can share your articles or your knowledge sharing, thought process, thought leadership kind of thing. And once it is getting screened out and then properly reviewed, it is your opportunity to get it particularly published into the chapter particular side of the articles when we normally do the publications. Of course, there's many things which goes around the chapter and these are evolving, guys. So I would encourage LF. Most of the people are associated with us in the WhatsApp group and also into the PMI UAE chapter has UAE, which has been bringing all the videos of the webinars which are recorded in the past. So you can revisit them any point of time as well. So rather than waiting for the webinar link, it is getting stored in the YouTube channel. Please go and revisit it out at the time when it allows to you. If you have any specific queries, you have the email addresses listed out in there. Please feel free to reach out to them as per the relevant category. So with that, let me introduce Mr. Vishu now, who has been waiting patiently with us. And it's our honor to have him again, that we have somebody from his caliber is bringing the stage with us. And Mr. Vishu has been there with the PMI since long. I've been talking to him behind the stage a couple of minutes back, and he told that how he has been associated with PMI chapter since way back in US, and then he shared some very funny story as well. But beyond that, he has been the transformation strategist, a leadership coach, a trusted advisor, okay, and has been doing this work, I think, more than 25 years. And of course, he has been holding the leadership roles from the different organizations like GE, Intel, and Atos. What He is leading towards his corporate journey, gave him the foundation to blend the acumen of the business knowledge and the people centric leadership there, and enabling him to consult and coach with authority and empathy. So, with that, please welcome Mr. Vishu, and we are again looking forward to hear from you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Anshal and PMI UAE chapter board members for giving this opportunity. I feel little excited to meet all these wonderful project managers who are facing day-to-day real challenges in the field and coming together for understanding what beyond the deadlines they need to handle. Okay. And very interestingly, this topic, when I choose a couple of the organizations where keynote address, the leadership uh, keynote address, when I did that, so many people uh, still having that tradition because of the age, those who are in above 50, above 40, still those who are in the leadership thinking in the very the traditional management way. But things are evolving very fast. We need to really reimagine our project leadership, and because the world around us is moving very fast. And let's come to the reality. What is happening is 83% of the projects, especially the large projects, are getting delayed. Do you know what is the reason? Any guesses? You can chat in the window, like type in the chat window. What are the reasons? Changing requirement, scope creep, with the change management, unplanned risk, decisions and approvals, yes, improper planning, budget, communications, scope creep, resources, poor planning, okay, okay, accountability, improper planning, lack of poor management. Good to see a lot of inputs from all of you. I think this is the uh, understanding we have, and whenever we see that any challenges we face, we are thinking that um, we have this kind of a reasons behind that. Uh, but look at, is there a problem with any our project managers? No, the project managers are really skilled and capable to do that. And then, is there a problem with the people who are working on that? But they are actually putting a lot of effort and everything. So then what is the real problem which is causing to this large projects are delayed? There's a system problem. And based on my experience with the GCC areas, the way how projects are getting executed, many people even I interviewed and some of the CXOs when I worked, they keep on complaining about the frameworks which are used there. It is uh, the past frameworks which are used for the future projects. That is the biggest challenge. People keep saying that it may be uh, from your perspective, it may be different, but now we need to get into the expanding, understand the different perspectives. Uh, Quickly, I'd like to touch upon the more framework, which is PMI recently introduced. Uh, M for managing the different perceptions, and O for ownership, and R for reluctantly reassess your requirements, and E is expanding your perspective. So this is the new model and methodology which is introduced by the PMI. Those who are a member, maybe you can search it in your courses. It's totally free. There is a two courses are available: PMI Essentials. Under that, this more is there, and also PMI More in Action. So that is more practical. So this the first one more theoretically covering what is all about, and the second one really putting you with the case studies and explaining you how to use that one. So I got a lot of inspiration from that, and yesterday I completed the second course also. So that given me a lot of input. So that really helping me to explain the leaders or the business owners, the CXOs of the organizations, what is the real challenge in the project management. And especially when I do the consulting and coaching, this is really helping me. And we are very slow in adopting certain things. Rightly, some of the people said change management, uh, because normally we are in the comfort zone. The change, the moment we hear that our brain wiring is little get disturbed, it makes us uncomfortable. Okay, so this is the way the brain is always accepting the known things to do it. But when we want to introduce anything, it is not easily accepting the change. So neurologically, it is not only for the few people. Majority of the people feel that the change is the very uncomfortable one. But when really we move from our comfort zone, I think the change is going to be really the stepping stone for the transition. In the future, it is going to help you for the transformation. So if when you understand the reality, I think you will understand how you can map it with the complexity of GCC, what the projects are having it, and especially the supply chain volatility is very high in the GCC area. Maybe if you are not a big project, even nowadays the small projects are getting impacted because of the increasing cost and the availability, and even shifting them overnight is taking lot of money. And also the rising project cost, one side the inflation due to the some of the environmental factors, and also market is forcing us to eroding some of the budgets. And whatever it is beyond the budget only, like we need to spend it to make the projects are very successful. And the third one, more this shortage of the workforce, and especially the workforce. Earlier, like people were saying the labor level, but now all kind of talents are very challenging, and it's unavailability due to the various reasons. I'm not getting into more detail. And the fourth one, the regulatory changes and the expectation from our clients from different regions. They are coming up with the different expectations. So, and also this ESG, environmental and the societal governance pressure also is there. So, to meet the or compliance to this standard itself, we need to put a lot of effort beyond managing and leading the project to make it successful. So nowadays, even though AI is helping to a certain extent, but this kind of a regulatory things still not able to taken care by the technology fully. And a lot of project managers' time and energy is still going in this areas. Also, the climate and weather impact, that is another side, creating a lot of complexity for executing our projects. And the geopolitical uncertainty, that is the biggest worry now in the GCC area. And every day, I think you unexpected things are happening, and you need to whatever plan you are putting, it is not able to execute. By the time you are executing, the another unexpected one things are happening. So keep on. We need to working on planning its stage itself. Even not able to execute. If you are executing, the lot of requirements are keep changing it, and lot of priorities getting changed. Lot of things are becoming critical immediately, and we need to really spending a lot of time to where to put our effort and make this project run it smoothly. So that's the biggest complex is there. But when we are predictable, I think it's easy to uh, make ourselves to be ready to accept the dynamism, also shift in the way how we are handling things. So that is the biggest uh, thing we need to really focus on that. And what is the breakthrough insight? When I couple of my woman side or project managers, like when I interacted for my consulting purpose. So everybody is thinking that there is some problem with their project, all that one. But that is the assumption. We are thinking like scope is keep changing and teams are failing and the risks are keep on increasing. But the real truth is the project is stable, but the world around it is rotating. So the reference frame has really shifted. Every time you may need to refer something new, and based on that, you may need to do that. So we think the pendulum is appearing to change the direction, but actually the pendulum itself is very stable. The Earth, which is around that, it is rotating. So the pendulum is in the same. So similarly, our project is not drifting. Actually, the world around it is changing. So we need to understand this perspective very clearly so that the panicking or whatever way we are, our management looking at us and the way they are evaluating some of the parameters, we need to provide this different perspective and make them to understand how this is really changing and the world around us is how it is getting rotated. So that is the breakthrough insight we need to understand. Uh, and the second thing, what I like to share more on this is that there is a leadership gap, and most of the project managers try to fix the swing. Okay, so and instead of understanding the rotation, uh, if you look the way the traditional PMS, what are the tasks is not completed, and more reactive to the issues, and a lot of control driven is happening is even some people due to the insecurity feeling they are controlling much and tightening the team task assignments and a lot of this kind of a fixed mindset is there still in whether you take it small, medium, large, or mega, all the projects facing this one, and somehow try to manage things and using the relationship or using the face value, people are getting things done and managing to get the output of the projects. But uh, this is not the real purpose of the doing the project. And also, they always putting the effort to try to fix the swing. But what is that they need to really focus? So the future PM need to be focused on the system, what they are, the system they are working in, and how much they can be more predictive and proactive. And the maintenance side, I think people are doing it during the monitoring control. Also, a lot of reactive only, not much predictive is happening it. And the insight driven. So we get the insight, but sometimes we are ignoring them as like a intuitive. Even some intuitive says we think let it happen. So the insight driven is a lot required for that. You need a lot of data also, and you need to start focusing on how to deliver the outcomes rather than focusing on the outputs. And also, instead of focusing on the swing, try to focus on what is the rotation. Understand the rotation which is happening around you. So that is more important because the shift is not about adopting the digital tools or the technologies or the techniques. It is about thinking differently. So it is in your mindset, the way how you are approaching, the way how you are seeing it. That's why I introduced that, even shared that more framework, because that lot talk about the how you can be more empathetical with the people, how you can be more having the design thinking, critical thinking, and system thinking. And also now the recent days really after this AI has come, a lot of technology people are more focusing on how to get implement whether they need or not, focusing on the technology side. But as per the first principle thinking, we need to understand beyond the technology, and we need to understand more the people who got involved in that. So that is the leadership gap currently is there. I think when you are slowly adopting all this, you can see the transition, and you can maybe when you are continuously practicing and continuously improving, you will end up transforming your projects very successfully. And now I like to go to the three lenses which really the leadership is needed. The people who are leading, executing, managing, controlling, planning. If you are only taking, you are the one of the stakeholder, you are the sponsor. Everybody should have these three lenses on the project leadership. So the first one is the Foucault Pendulum. Already I have touched upon that. So you need to understand what is the market shift is happening, and also the recent policies which are getting evolved, and what are the impacts in the execution time. Many times the planning is happening, but totally when coming to the execution, it is totally different. And we may need to go back and forth. How many times we can ask the CR? Sometimes the scope itself totally is getting changed. So only through the CR we may not be able to fulfill those requirements. So we may need to relook some of the requirements based on the customer needs and wants. So the clients are very smart and they put everything as a requirements. We may need to understand in that which of them are really need, which of them are really want, because sometimes the want is look like a need and we are giving importance to fulfill that, but end of the day whatever we assume that as a want, that is the need of the end user, or that is the need of the client. So this misperception or assumption is misleading us. So we need to have the clarity before we execute anything. And even while executing, that's why that reassure the relentlessly. That is the one thing in the more framework they are insisting. So we may need to, it's not the one time thing, we may need to reassure again and again. And if you really not fixing the swing and understanding what it is rotating around you, you can mark as a true leader. And this is the biggest benefit you will see. That the second lens which you need to do is I'm using the metaphor of the orchestra, okay, how to creating the internal harmony. So the project is not a machine, it is an actually an orchestra, and you are the conductor, okay. So even if you have a 10 hands, like as a project manager, even if you have 10 hands, that is not enough in this current scenarios, whatever we are facing it. You need a lot of extended hands, but even if you have the extended hands, they are not going to really going to deliver what you are expecting. So you need to build the relationship and understand the very empathetic way. So then only that harmony will get created, because many times we see that people handling others in a very sympathetic way. So you accommodate them, adjust with them, all that. But when something really happens, how quick we are resilient, also how quick we are adhesive with others also, and how quick we are adapting along with ourselves, who are the people struggling to come to that speed. So that is more important. So we need to have more alignment, more adaptiveness, and more adjustment. Not the adjustments in the sense do by understanding what the struggle they are going through. So this is really needed, especially on the very diversified cultural projects and diversified nationalities are there. We need to understand their background and how they have done the studies, the brought up. Little bit that relationship building will help you to understand that you may be very expert in one area, but they are also similarly unique and expert in another area. So when you are collaborating with them, I think you can complement each other's strength and you can together win. So that is more important. And rather than sticking with this is my KRA, this is what my RASI matrix is saying. So I am only responsible that. So please don't. This is good for those uh, uh, adhering or following it, but when really some challenges are happening, when things are going not in the way we expected, at least we need to be activate our adhesive quotient. So you would have heard about IQ, EQ. So there is one more quotient is there, adhesive quotient. So that is really needed for the future project leaders as well as to the current project leaders. The third one, we need to try to build the ecosystem. Okay, because today a lot of interconnections, interdisciplinary things are happening, and it's not the projects are going to be happening in the isolation. So we need to have the ecosystems. Even though we get any affected by the funding, all that. So some of the policies are affected by the execution, but we need to have the people who are really getting involved. So that's where this ecosystem will bring and make the balance. It will not be more skewed on any one of the side. So we don't need to be more aggressive. We don't need to be more slow also. We need to choose the middle path that is very balanced one. And because here everything is interconnected, and even any small things, if you feel that coming as a change, we need to really evaluate what are the risks involved in that. So we are doing already, but in a very traditional way. Now, with the empathetic nature, with the empathetic way, and understanding more with the other people perspective, getting other people perceptions, and see how they are handling this, and then how you can smoothly handle them. So that is more important. So the world is rotating, and our internal harmony has to build, and also all are interconnected. So when you combining all this, there will be a very nice project ecosystem leadership you can build. It is very simple. It is not very complicated one. There are so many bigger projects happening. It even some of the smart city projects in GCC itself, I can give as a case studies. You can, if you find they are very open in the market, you know that. I think Neom project and the Abu Dhabi Smart City project. All these projects are keep challenging the phases, but still they are not moving out of their goal, but still tactically they are handling them very well. So GCC case studies are really the entire world is looking at, and they are taking the inputs from such big projects. So now I'm coming to the important system which really helping me, and as well as I'm evaluating with some of the other chapters and some of the business sectors, even the family businesses, even in the MSME kind of micro, small, medium enterprises also. But when we do this one, we need to systematically we have to do. We don't need to rush it and implement this other one. We can actually move that phase by phase. So I will explain you in detail. Okay, the projects are very important, and what we deliver is more than what we are promising, because all we are whatever we are saying promising in the papers, but at the end of the day we are getting evaluated, we are getting valued more on what we are actually delivering it. So try to focus on more outcome based driven delivery, and also value realization. Ask your PMOs to focus on the value part. Still, I'm seeing the PMOs are more talking about resourcing, more talking about finance. They are trying to control the project management officers through the different regulatory compliances, all that. Instead of that, you have all that one as a basic things, but what is the value realization? Whether it is a tangible or intangible, let them capture it and see how it is helping your client, how it is helping to your organization, how it is helping to your project, how it is helping to the people who are got involved. And also always think about your project is not the silo, it is not the individual one. You need to show that how it is aligned with the strategy. So many times people more module specific, more their site specific, more on the phase wise. If they're done, they are moving it, or task wise, if they're done, they are not doing. So give them a big picture of how it is aligned to the strategy. So that is more important. And the next one is the process. Okay, what is the process we are facing? but still, I will say you can say water agile fall. That is where some of the projects are happening, water agile fall. But still, I feel GCC side, you can still worry. You can work on the agile plus lean governance because still the cycle time, lead time, lag time, all are very important because I saw some of the people put that decisions and approvals all because of there is a not proper usage of the cycle time and lead time and lag time. So if you do such a some of the lean implementation along with your agile project management, that governance will really help you to eradicate the decision making and some of the delays are happening in the approval processes and make it process flexible. It should be like a guideline, but people should not use it loophole and try to do any unethical things or which is against the integrity. But make it flexible, case by case, because nowadays the situation is very, very unpredictable. Every day, some new things due to the environment, due to some of the changes, policy changes are happening. We need to be a little bit flexible here. And even though there are some processes and policies we need to adapt, and be adaptive also when the new things comes. Why it is already we have so many why so just evaluate and see what is the real value it is giving it. Then you adapt them also, the efficiency need to be focused. See, so far we are talking about effectiveness, effectiveness, effectiveness. But how much efficiency we are putting it and what is the effort we are putting, we need to really look at. So effectiveness is also one of the key parameter, but looking at the efficiency, how we are putting efficiently handling things, that is more important. So the process is not efficient, think about and scrap it or build a new one. Or if you're not required, then remove them and try to cut down the process steps which are really not required. So you can do add more del with the efficiency area also. The third one is a people. Okay, they are very important because they are the one really making it happen. End of the day, without them we can't do the projects. So even though people say yes, we can do the robots are there, this AGI can do all that, but certain extent only they do. But wherever problem solving, decision making, creativity, all this really needed the human touch. There are some creativity people are doing it, but existing thing they are connecting the dots and fusioning it. It is not really the original creativity is not coming. So we need a lot of right brain people for the creativity. So similarly, whatever they are creating it to evaluate and do that, we need a lot of analytical left brain people also required. So without human touch, we cannot make any intelligence. Okay, you because lot of artificial intelligence, everything we are talking in the recent days. But how many of us really focusing on the emotional intelligence part? Because this people, when we say emotional intelligence, people are involved in that. How much you have that your self awareness, social awareness, based on that only that emotional intelligence works very well. Then only make your AI to make more successful. Today, some of the to-do list preparation, minutes of the meeting, some of the repetitive tasks we are taking help of AI and doing it. Some people for the research purpose, for the referral, they are doing it. Very few people really implemented, really using the building the LLMs around solutions on their own. Otherwise, everybody using the open without understanding the data privacy, without understanding the data security, without understanding a lot of laws and this impact of in the future. So we need to have a very responsible AI also when we think about implementing it. But when we come to the people, we need to think about the capability engineering because we see the capacity and we see we are not looking at the capability of the individuals. So when you understand capacity and the performance, this is how we are looking the people Instead of that, what the potential they have and what is the capability they bring it to the project. When we look at that, I think that changes the different perspective, and your perceptions also will change it. And the right role alignment. If the person is very complaints oriented, put them in the audit. The people who are very influencing, put them in the people relationship or customer engagement kind of roles. So understand their potential, understand their. There are so many ways to do that one. So a lot of tests are available. So many ways to find out that. I'm not going to market anything here. So you can find out which is suitable for your project, for your environment, for your organization. So that right role alignment, not by just looking at the JD, creating the care, the roles and responsibilities, interviewing the person, then based on their earlier performance or based on their marks, what they got, and their then certifications, what they have done. You are evaluating all that and putting them in the project, but are they is the right person? So only end of the 6 months, 1 year, when the performance comes out, then only you are realizing it. But people very smart, some people by experience 1 to 2 months they will find out. That is more on the how much people you have handled, you get that experience. Otherwise, you may not be able to really figure it out who's really the right person. So go by the role based hiring rather than hiring based on the grade or all that one. Even now, in the role also, the skill based hiring is very much required. So because you are testing the knowledge part, if you test the skill part, skill plus knowledge makes the competency. So when you are getting the competent person, I think you are close to the right person you are getting for the right role. So that is the way we need to focus on when we are getting the people. And the third one, leadership mindset. So we need to really move into the fixed to growth mindset. Even after moving to the growth mindset, a lot of entrepreneurial mindset nowadays is required. We have a lot of good project mindset. So whenever I go to the business people, I will tell them, please adopt the project mindset. Whenever I come to the project group, I will asking and I am requesting every one of you to have the entrepreneurial mindset, even though you have the business acumen. That while taking the risk, easily we can classify whether you are a real entrepreneur or whether you are a real project manager. So that risk averse will tell you how much you are ready to do the business and how much you are very cautious about covering your or securing your job. So that is the visibility I have seen. So the people part really, especially on the emotional intelligence part, we need to focus. The fourth one, purpose. Why this purpose is many times when I ask people why you are doing this, why we need this. The speaker is saying that, and my lead has told me, my manager asked me to do. This is how it works here. Many people just showing their fingers to somebody else or some other thing, not really understanding why we are doing it. So we need to, that's why I said the strategy level alignment is there. Then only you can explain how this project is going to contribute towards to the vision of the organization or vision of the client, what thinking on the business and the vision of the individual who's really running this project. So that is why it is really matter. And this ESG integration that that keep on increasing in all the regions, not only in GCC. So you need to understand why we are doing it. The people who are asking, they may be from the environment perspective, they are thinking and asking it. And the third one, the impact which is you are creating will be more meaningful. Today, you may be looking at the project is successful, we close within the budget or within the time or extra budget we use, or there is a 10% deviation or variance in my schedule, but end of the day, we met the scope with a 10 CR or 15 CR change request, we accommodated and we fulfill the customer. At the end of the day, what is the value it is created? What is the impact it has delivered? That's where many people not evaluating. And after 6 months, after 1 year only, a lot of projects are getting scrapped, or it is coming for the rework, or it is even going to the legal issues. So we need to really think about how to make this meaningful impact. For that, each one of the people in the project need to understand what is the purpose of this project, what is the purpose of each phases, what is the each module is doing, or each um, task we are delivering, how it is interconnected with the transactional level, operational level, tactical level, then in the strategy level. So give them at least, even the very, very lower level people may not understand, but at least whichever extent the people can able to understand, please pass on this one so that your project success is more and more close to the 100%. So at least you can push it to the more than 90%. You can make it as a more successful. And on top of this, is this enough? No. On top of this, you need to have one layer that is more under your data. What is the data? Whether you're having the right data, that is more important. And the second one, you need to have the artificial intelligence to make it your productivity, make it your time and energy to save. Also, you can get some predictive analytics and also have more real-time insights. These four things should have one layer on top of whatever we are currently discussed. So that will really make the systems to be aligned and you can make impactful delivery. So this is the 4P one. How to do that? All maybe I have the template and I can share with all of you. And I will tell you how you will get this one end of the session. And how this 4P is making the shift from the task to transformation and from the output to the delivery to the outcome realization. That is more the projects need to be focused. And I'm a little bit making fast because I want to have more question and answer session also. And, so the second one process is making from rigid governance to making more adaptive execution and be more responsive. If you are the decision maker, so or you are holding the governance, and if there are committee, make them to understand, give them the proposal of what benefits they will get, and rather than complaining, rather than not adopting, or what are the things will go negative. Uh, Rather than doing the water cooler talk, let's prepare the proposal and share that. Even after that, there is nothing, things are happening. Then you do some pilot or do some POC and show them. Still, if they are not changing it very rigid, we can't help much. So because these are the things you would have tried on your own, but sometime on the process side, many people tried and people they said we are frustrated because this continuous improvement and needed a lot of patience also. It is not so easy. We can tell it, but in the real time, it's very difficult. But now the given scenario in GCC, I think a lot of adaptive executions are happening. People are realizing it, and post-COVID era, most of the world realizing it. But now, especially in the GCC, after this, and now the impact of what GCC is facing more, it is indirectly coming to across the world also. And the third one, rather than keep on asking, my resource crunch is there, I'm not getting the right people, focus on the capability design and see how you can internal mobility, you can do it. Also think about how you can create the intrapreneurship also, so that there are people who wants to pursue their career as a from moving from employment to entrepreneurship. When you are giving opportunity to as a play as an entrepreneurship, they may stay and they can be part of your system, still part of the growth of the organization and accomplishing the projects very successfully. You don't lose the talent. And the fourth one on the purpose side, generally people focusing on the task completion. So let them more focus on the impact creation. And when all four P's are very much aligned, the complexities becomes more clarity. And the practical transformation toolkit, one is the risk log. This is the one many people have the risk register or risk log, all that. So they are documenting most of the thing and for the quality purpose, complaints purpose. But what is that they are proactively doing on that? So this is the one area you can really look at, and you can see how soon you can change this one. And you can start preparing some of the predictive risk dashboards also. And a lot of scenario planning you can think about, and accordingly you can do the practices. And also what are the external signals are saying it, and how it is impacting. So you can track them also. And second one, the talent shortage. So better you try to internally you have that. So many people for the recruitment is happening, hackathon, all this they are conducting and doing it. Instead of that, within the organization, why don't you conduct some competitions and see who are the real potential, who has the real capability, who you can bring them to the respective department. And surprisingly nowadays, you even some of the drivers of the organization, some of the securities and people, the youngsters, they have a very good qualification. They got the job for different roles they have adopted, but still they have the knowledge. Given a chance, they are ready to prove their skills also. So don't restrict with the assumption that it is only for technical people. Those who are in the finance guy, so he may be good in doing business analyst role also. So there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of capabilities within the your organization or within even some of the mega projects within the project team itself. You might be having it. You may not knowing that. So try to find out and build those capabilities. The third one, lot of tools we are started using it in the technology platforms. Try to integrate them, and also some of the human touch. Lot of, as I said, with the emotional intelligence, try to integrate them, and not to cut off anything, or not to the people. Some of them are working in a very legacy system. Give them a chance to slowly move from that legacy to the modern one by integrating all these legacy systems also. And try to mm, assess the first which of them are really required automation, which of them are really required automation, which of them are really required the AGI. So which of them really required some SLM to be implemented, which of them really needed LLM. So don't for the peer pressure, don't for the competitive pressure, don't because of client is asking, don't do such kind of implementation or digital transformation. Do the assessment, it's really need or it is must to have. So then you go for that. Otherwise, not to spend money and wasting it. A lot of early adopters now they are burnt a lot and then they are realizing it. And the fourth one is don't focus on more deadlines. Look at on the outcomes which we are going to do that and the value, what is getting realized. So that is more important. And a lot of value-based delivery frameworks are coming in. So I'm not suggesting some of the one, and I have a workbook, and again you can use that one. So I will share with all of you. Maybe I have already shared that workbook with the UAE chapter, the organizing team. So you can share that with the members also, and or those who are going to get connect with me, you can also will get that one. So now what is rotating in the GCC projects beyond the delivery in the GCC context? More like now this oil prices shift and a lot of policies are getting evolved, climate impacts and a lot of talent flows and the geopolitics is a lot happening it. But you are not just delivering the projects. So if you have only project mindset, think about in a very entrepreneurial mindset, you are shaping the future skylines. Today you are connecting the world. Okay. So when your airports are getting shut off, how much impact is happening economically in across the globe? Many people witness. So you are shaping the future skylines. Think in that way. And then you are enabling a lot of national economies. And also you are defining the identity of the nations. And also you are creating a legacy that is going to last. So if you are going to deliver with the value, people are going to salute and people are going to never forget this kind of a projects. Okay, and any national building cannot be managed with the yesterday's project mindset. You need a real fresh growth mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, and also you need to adopt so many new frameworks also. And what is the future project leader? There is a new identity in this new era, not this task coordinator or deadline tracker or tool operator or status reporter. You are going to be more like a system thinking person, more strategic aligned person. And I hope most of you are having that talent triangle, business acumen and technology leadership and the way of working. So, but on top of that, a lot of things are happening. So PMI also keep sharing a lot of thought leadership white papers. Maybe you can, when you go through that, a lot of strategic alignments you can able to pick up from that, and then you can use it in your projects. And the third one, this predictive decision making. So lot of data is available. Please don't buy it and use it. Maybe for the testing and training purpose, you can do that. But if you look in your system, a lot of data is already available. And try to build the ecosystem for leadership rather than depending on the whatever dashboards or charts which we are using currently. So try to make the change from today. And when you start, I think you will feel the difference, and you can make the impact in your not only in your team, not only in your project. I think that is going to make the impact in a very big way. So finally, what are the three things the project leader need to be understand? The world is rotating. The system must stay in the harmony, and everything is well connected. So don't just manage the swing and understand the rotation, and you can, you will, and you able to deliver the future without any doubt. Each one of you have a very unique talent, and each one of you have a very unique competency, and each one of you have a unique potential also. So how you are going to use is more the you are flexible. I think more and more you are adaptive. You can be able to build your own framework, which is going to helpful to your not only to the project, also you can share that one with the your same industry people or even sometimes across the industry also. So the way how the templates which I have created, the workbook I have created, it is applicable to all kind of institutions, organizations, industries. So try to think in that way so that you can leave some of the legacy to this world. So with that, thanks for the opportunity and thanks for listening me patiently. Those who are interested to connect with me and want to get the workbook and the 4P template in the LinkedIn, you can get connect and you can send the message. I will share with you. Also, already I have shared with the PMI UAE chapter also. They will also share to the members. So those who are not the members, you can get connect with me. Once again, thanks for the opportunity. Open for the Q&A.
Thank you, sir. And especially for those compelling insights, what you have shared is 4P with the layer of insights and data to be getting into predictive zone is actually the fundamental of today's session. What is actually the real takeaway is actually that. So I think very informative people. I'm seeing the comments coming out there. Very useful. Your toolkit, you are so nice to share the toolkit as well. So I think we already got a link shared by Nikki over there in the chat for the people who are looking for the toolkit. It's already shared there, but you can also scan the code for getting in touch with Mr. Vishwa at that level. Q&A. So I think one question I can figure it out meanwhile, while I'm still waiting for the questions to see up in the Q&A section. As such, I did not find them much. But more importantly, one question I could figure it out, and I have noted it down as well. So Chris is asking that you mentioned about some study about project failures. So apparently the curiosity is around that. Which research has suggested that 83% of failure? Would you like to share that if you can?
Yeah, it's a McKinsey report only, so it is very open. You can put that 83% mega project getting delayed or failure. So McKinsey providing
You
that
can
report.
see. Okay, thank you. Audience, if you have more questions around it, please feel free to put it out. I don't see anything much in the Q&A there, which has been asked, or is it? I believe so. I do not see
In the
anything there.
chat window,
The chat window, I'm trying to skim it out, but in the Q&A, normally we used to get it, but nothing as such coming out here. Q&A wise, there is nothing in the chat. Also, I picked this question, but I don't see any other question much around there. Some comments were there, especially people liked about the risk. Some one comment is, of course, that you can add a risk log to risk intelligence. That's one thing people find it very good around that talent shortage, capability design. I think this is very much appreciated. That is something that I see the comment around. What else we have? Yeah, I think that's pretty much there. So with that, I think thank you so much, sir. I don't see anything coming out in the Q&A, which is something which we can look at. But more importantly, nevertheless, the point is that whatever you shared is basically around a couple of things. So you mentioned about projects. Since being we are project managers, we have to look at into the different areas of people, process, and purpose, and that is really very much valid in the perspective of today's context sometimes, because uh, the value driving ethics, value driving mindset is easier to say, but sometimes very difficult to obtain. And especially the benefit realization framework and all that. A lot of organizations I've seen, they have implemented it and actively try to track them out. And honestly speaking, I don't see 100% success everywhere. But I've seen that the needle is moved from zero to at least 30 to 35% there still, and that is basically the culture shift a bit brings it out with it. And once you start seeing the needle slowly moving, it takes a long time sometimes people to change from the perspective of that understanding of, are we really delivering, or are we really doing what we are doing? And I think that what you made it clear with your framework. One question I can see, can you give some tip for starting a small entrepreneurship in this current situation?
in the GCC area, if you want to do that, maybe I will say please wait for few more months and then you can start it. Maybe you want to do that in the self-employment mode, you can try it, and rather than investing on that. Otherwise, if you have a real idea, because you said small. Otherwise, you have a real idea, do some MVP or POC, try to pitch in and get the fund from the real investors. So rather than putting on your own investment and trying certain things, because your one person ideas may not be get validated fully. So when the investors are there, you will get the proper guideline and do that. So that is how I will suggest, because now they're very volatile and need to be very stable. Any small means, if you know you have done it 20 years in that area, so if you have a client pipeline, if you have some forecast on the orders, then you can do that. Otherwise, it's not the right time to start.
Very wise decision, very wise feedback around that. Great answer. Anybody else, if would like to post out something, feel free to do so. I have a couple of minutes, but I think the recognition I would like to definitely say for today's session is definitely I want to like to thank you, sir, first of all, for your great insights, and then the audience. I think you have been patient, and every participant who has joined across the globe. And I want to thank you to the volunteers as well, because that is what make these webinars possible with us. So recognition to the membership, outreach, and finance and marketing colleagues who have been working hard behind the UAE chapters insight to reach our global community. And of course, we are here to make this journey as much as valuable to all of you in the form of these special webinars and the events but making sure that leadership is not only coming from project side of the things, but also it will go with the purpose, as Mr. Vishu said, that it's about inspiring people and then navigating this uncertainty about the pendulum, and ultimately leaving the legacy with the value and impact there. So I think that's where the whole goal and the end game last out, because it's not like how many projects you have done or how many projects you have led. It's basically how much you have created the value from the part of impact, and how many projects would you be able to give it to yourself back when you sit yourself and then you retrospected that has really created any value around it, to the people or the clients or your stakeholders from that angle, which will remember the project well from the perspective of value and generation there. So I think that is leaving that thought around. I would like to take a leave, and on behalf of my chapter and the colleagues behind the scene is Anchal here, wishing you out a continued success and inspiration for your projects. Thank you, sir. Take care of yourself. A good night.
Thank you.